Hi, my name is Maya and I'm a rising junior at Los Gatos High School. For the second milestone, I worked on and completed all of the code for the RC car to make it move in 8 different ways and to make it stop. I also confirmed the connection between the IR remote and IR receiver before finishing this code. I was able to do all of this by starting off with downloading a base code from the SunFounder website for the IR remote and IR receiver. From here, I edited the hexadecimal numbers on the decoded key values to match the hex numbers that my IR remote buttons output to my IR receiver. I was able to find these hex numbers by opening a serial monitor in my Arduino IDE app, plugging my computer into my Arduino with the base code, and pressing all of the buttons that I would end up using to turn in different directions. At this point, I was also able to verify the connection between the IR remote and IR receiver, since I could see that they were sending and receiving signals from each other. After modifying the code to fit my remote's correct hex numbers, I had to label them to make sure I knew which number correlated to which button on the remote. Then, I just tested the code. I uploaded it to my Arduino, but when I turned on the battery pack on my RC car, nothing worked. I pressed all of the arrow buttons and the OK button, which acted as a stop button in this case, but my car didn't move at all. Even though there was an LED turning on the Arduino every time I clicked a button, and this showed that at least something was working, this was a major obstacle that I didn't know how to tackle at first. However, with some help from my instructor, I was able to figure out that the reason that the car wouldn't move was because the SunFounder code was made for a different RC car with a different remote and different motors than the one that I had. So, we decided it would be a good idea to copy the movement and motor code from the SparkFun code for motor testing that I used last milestone and to paste it into this base SunFounder code. This entailed removing the old code from the SunFounder code I had, but it wasn't too much of a hassle. Then, all I had to do was change the pin numbers to the correct pins and I could test it. When I did end up testing it, the RC car moved around and it worked exactly how I wanted it to. The right arrow made it move right, left arrow made it move left, and etc. However, there was more that I could do from here. From the old SparkFun motor testing code I used, there were actually 4 other directions that the motor could turn the car in that I didn't end up using at first. These directions were curving forwards left and right and curving backwards left and right. I wanted to add more ways for my RC car to move, so I decided to just add this movement code to my remote and my Arduino as well. I used 4 other buttons on my remote and followed the same process I did for making the car move in the original 5 directions. After I finished editing the code, I tested it again and everything seemed to be working very well. Here is a video of how the RC car moves based on what buttons are pressed. Now that my main code's been finished, I'm going to focus a lot on the hardware for my next milestone. I might also decide to add some object avoidance code if I have time, but my next step right now is focusing on stabilizing the wheels and getting them to have more traction.